Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kino Cafe. This is season one, episode. What episode are we even on now? Is it five? Yeah, 5 episodes.
It hasn't changed in our Instagram bio.
That's right. It
I,
hasn't
I
changed.
have the power to go do that, and I never do.
I am not either. But episode five. Welcome into episode five. This is gonna be a fun episode. We are going to be talking about Michael Mann, one of our favorite filmmakers. I think Michael Mann in general has just done. Hold on a minute. We have our first caller.
Really? We won't do this live.
There she is. What's your name?
I'm
Little
Carlos.
angel?
Dawn.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
called us our little angel.
Thanks be a big fan.
Oh.
Sounds sad.
I wonder if he has asthma.
Oh,
Yeah, I would be sad too.
crying?
I'll be waiting.
Oh, he's waiting. Oh,
Oh,
he's waiting for the episode.
he's waiting for episode 5. That's wonder. Oh,
That's so good. Dude, we got
that
our
was
first call.
that was so fulfilling. We don't go on live, so that was even more special that he called right before. It's almost like he's watching us or something. Like he's like
That's
behind one of us, you know?
that would be crazy. But
Yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of crazy talk. I feel like it's divine intervention.
yeah.
That was meant to be.
Perfect timing.
Perfect
Um,
timing.
yeah.
And the episode begins.
You know what that reminded me of?
What?
You ever seen Inglourious Bastards where they all take the slate and they say "Hello,
Mhm.
Sally"?
Hey, Sally. Yeah, talk to the editor. They've been doing that since Pulp Fiction, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's their little because that's literally the blooper reel of the movies is just them
Yeah.
saying hi, Sally.
Because Tarantino doesn't make mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah. Why would anyone on that set make any mistakes? Walton Goggins, dude's a professional.
He's Hateful Eight, isn't he?
Yep, he's the sheriff. I
Yep.
need Walton Goggins and Shea Wiggum in a Tarantino directed buddy cop movie, and they just play the dudes.
I need Tarantino to just make another movie.
Yeah, what's this guy on, dude?
This is like, I've been thinking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like all summer. I've watched it twice. I watched it once in April, I
Mhm.
think. Didn't even log it on Letterboxd. I was just sitting there vibing with it, getting disappointed that he canceled his last movie.
That's just yeah. Like Scorsese made a good point about it too, that like Tarantino literally crafts his movies from the ground up. Like Scorsese will take projects and he'll write movies with other writers or he'll just adopt a project. But Tarantino literally builds these with his bare hands,
Yeah.
story, characters and all. So like I do get this whole like obviously not even like the period between movies, but the idea of oh I'm just gonna do 10, but there's gotta come a point when it's like there's gotta be more you want to make, right? Like there's gotta be
Yeah.
more in your head.
And I love him and I love his well, I don't know if I love him. I love his films and he's a great artist. Um and I feel like he's limiting himself because I feel like he wants to be remembered and he wants to be like an auteur, but like he praises Scorsese consistently and still up until like 2019 when he was doing press for that, he was like he's Scorsese's number one fan. Does he not know that Scorsese's made like 20 plus movies?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can do as many as you want, and if he really wants a legacy, he should have a legacy of nothing but good movies because we want it.
Yeah, and he hasn't made like a pure stinker. Like it's not like there's been one movie that's like, damn, that one sucked. Like there's some that I like more than others, but
And I think the one people don't like the most is Death Proof, but people also really like Grindhouse.
Right.
I mean, fucking- I love
That's
Grindhouse.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's like got it.
Um,
Got that thing on you.
got that motherfucking Grindhouse on me. Speaking of Cowboys, I forgot my train of thought. Let's move on, actually.
Horizon? Did you mention Horizon? We're not
I
talking about Horizon this episode.
It's not doing good, and
It's
apparently
not.
Kevin knew that,
Hmm.
which is a weird thing to say while you're in the middle of shooting the third one. That's super expensive with a lot of people needing to work on it. So a horrible way to promote the second one. Like, yeah, we knew this one would bomb, like pretty roughly.
Yeah.
Like, eh,
It's crazy because Horizon, I'm not gonna go in depth, but one of the most fascinating parts of the movie is literally the trailer for number two at the end of the movie. And I realized that like half of the advertising for Horizon Part 1, half of the clips in that movie are not in the trailer. Because I technically it's a trailer for Part 1 and 2 because they come out in the same year. So it's Horizon's Chapter 1 and 2 trailer. So I was watching the end of Horizon, I was like, "Oh my God, all this stuff is not in this movie. It's all in number 2." Which it looked exciting. It looked really cool, and the ending got me really hyped. Like John Debney came in with the score, and it was like, "All right, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it." And I was like, "Good gravy. Why would you do that?" It was just, yeah. But it's gonna do gangbusters on History Channel.
it's gonna do numbers on MGM plus Grand streaming service, or however old conservative people watch movies. Um, I was really tempted to go
Wire.
see it actually, because what did I see? I can't remember what I went to go see, but they played a trailer beforehand, and I was kind of like, like I really do like westerns, and this does kind of like give it a shot. I was really mean to it on the podcast. I'm the only person that seems to like actually have hatred towards it.
There was a lot I did genuinely like about Horizon. I just, the whole structure, I have no idea how I feel about it yet. It's very confusing to me, the release strategy, but it definitely will once the Yellowstone crowd sets in and watches it. It'll
Yeah,
probably be one of those that like every 4th of July it'll air on History Channel and network, and like there's a lot that was genuinely good. Like it's not a terrible movie. It's not like they did a shit job. It was just kind of like, all right, let's get moving. Let's get moving. Let's get to the really good stuff. Because there was some really good moments that were just scattered, very scattered, and they needed to bring them in. So I don't
yeah.
know how 4 will do.
I think a lingering issue between any movie that's being split into parts right now is that like leaving the theater and being like, oh, as one cohesive, like in this case 6 hours, one cohesive 6 hour movie. I bet this absolutely slaps.
Yeah,
That's kind of an issue.
right.
Kind of the same way that like Dune is a lot better, and I know we keep comparing it to a movie that's quite different,
Hmm.
not only in audience but style, genre, substance, and everything. But Dune, even when I was kind of like, oh, like Dune Part One and Two, like in IMAX, like back to back with like a 20-minute break in between, would absolutely kick ass. Like that would be the perfect way to get the whole story. And I'm gonna say this just because like I did call it, and even Kevin said that he was like,
Yeah,
yeah, people don't like this one as much, but don't worry because we have more coming that are good. If you're gonna split something into parts, all parts should be equally good, and
right.
there should be a definitive reason that there is more than one part. Like make each their own movie that can connect to each other through one through
Mhm.
line. Like Back to the Future is a great example because I know that Robert Zemeckis operates on this thing where it's whatever movie you're making, you're supposed to be meeting the main character at the most important moment of their life. If you do a sequel, how can you top the most important moment of their life, and how many important moments can they have? Which is why that is a trilogy where they keep continuously going back to the first movie and everything is spawned off of that moment because it was like, but each one is its own contained movie. Everybody has their favorite. Every single one
Yeah.
has its own story, its own style, its own characters. Um, and I feel like we're kind of missing the point of movies that are part one and part two and part three and however many more Kevin is interested in
Yeah.
getting out there. Also, I don't know these people, but I have talked so much shit on Horizon that I know that you and Kaylee know people that have worked on these films, and to them I would like to say, that's fucking awesome. That's incredible. That's really cool. You're still working on a Western with Kevin Costner. And
Yeah.
I rewatched last week's episode and I was like, I was an ass.
For
I wanted to make that clear that
the
I'm,
retcon.
yeah, like I do not know you guys, but that is very sick and that is very cool,
It is kind of
regardless.
nice because like the actual production itself, I was very impressed by. Like the everything, the production design, the down to the wardrobe and how everyone looked and how everyone kind of acted. The it was a full scale production, and for the budget scale, you could tell that it was stretched quite a bit, and I was genuinely impressed by all that. So overall, it is a very impressive feat of filmmaking. And I mean, it's hard to consider this an indie film, but it had a very grassroots start.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking of parts that connect, fresh off Maxine, fresh off that ship and trilogy, and yeah, it's a movie.
I love the vibes. I did not like the movie. I thought that was it was not what it should have been or could have been, I guess, or what I expected.
It really
Mine's,
needed a gut punch, and I think they really just fumbled the bag with the last act, especially. And
it turned into very this the surprise was not that surprising.
it shouldn't have been
Either.
a surprise. It should have been like teased throughout the whole movie. It should have been like a carrot that you have to follow. And
Yeah. Um I don't know. I'm enjoying the promotion for the movie more than I did the actual movie,
yeah,
which is a bad thing
yeah.
inherently. One day we'll be able to come on this podcast and not shit on just anything.
Mhm.
Um, but unfortunately, yeah, I feel like that one really missed the mark and really bummed me out. I think the only thing that saved it was how it ended and how it
Yeah,
wrapped up the storyline of Maxine
yeah.
Minx and all of that.
The overall like ending finale was okay. It was that last act that got really goofy, really fast, with
Very
things that
action
just
heavy.
yeah, and it just wasn't earned, and she didn't get enough moments, and it really just kind of lost its footing. And I was really impressed with the first two thirds, and they kill a character. I'm not gonna spoil it. They kill a character that should not have died. There's a character in that movie that really should not die and could have carried through to the third act and been a really interesting pivot point for Maxine as a character.
Yeah,
And overall, I wasn't really too attached to her character in X. And I think I really wanted more to latch onto here because Pearl is so good and Pearl as a character, she fills that role so well.
yeah.
I watched it again 2 nights ago and I'm like, not only did she kill it performance wise, but she breathed so much life into that. And there's so much differentiating factors between the two characters.
Yeah.
Pearl on her like I see Mia Goth as Pearl and I see Mia Goth as Maxine. I don't see them like the same.
No.
And it's remarkable. And so I go into Maxine and I'm like, okay, I'm not getting enough to bite into here. And just yeah, it is good. Like it overall technically proficient film. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's just like the
They
end.
did a great job of showing seedy Hollywood.
Oh man, 80s live
I
Hollywood looked great.
which I will complain about though because I don't feel like they went deep enough on
Yeah,
that.
that could have
For
been
for
real.
these movies, they really could have gone deeper and they
Yeah.
just did.
My
Um,
dad moved to Hollywood in the late 80s,
yeah,
and he was saying that they got it really accurate, that when growing up, it would be like, you don't go to Hollywood. Like, you
yeah.
don't visit Hollywood, you never go there. It's just drug city, crime. It was like Gotham City. You just
Very
stay
similar.
away. And then the whole thing with the Night Stalker obviously was like a very scary thing at the time. So it
Um,
was dangerous. Yeah, I think there definitely way more interesting routes they could have taken. I need a bit more time to like fully think about it. I don't think I was as disappointed as most people were because I, I'm okay with X. I think X is fun. I've never considered X to be the masterpiece a lot of people think it is. And so I don't think my expectations for this one were through the roof. So I think I kind of got something I enjoyed, something good. Slightly disappointing in the end, but it is a good time at the movies. It's something I would recommend watching. All I gotta say, Buster Keaton, man. Buster Keaton. That I don't think I've never seen my dad jump in the movie theater. He
I
literally
crossed my leg.
his popcorn fucking flew in the air.
Yeah, that was the most um what's the word? That was the most visceral and grotesque part of the film.
Yeah.
And I also like that it was a pun.
Yeah, definitely. And I sat through In a Violent Nature and I barely flinched during that scene because of how cool it was to see. But
Yeah.
this scene in Maxine, I was like, I was shocked, and I haven't
Yeah.
been shocked at an image in a movie in a long, long time. That was great. I loved it.
That was Kinds of Kindness was the Horizon trailer, but also it
Mm,
was funny because while I was sitting through Maxine, I was comparing it to Kinds of Kindness, and I was like, this is like maybe if I hadn't just seen that, this would hit harder. Because I feel like anything that could have shocked me was dulled down by 2 hours and 50 minutes of everything that that movie was.
mhm.
Um, which good movie, I would say, if you just want something creatively absurd for 3 hours.
I forgot it's 3 hours long. That's crazy.
It moves faster than that, I'll say.
Yeah, new releases have been fun. Speaking of Deadpool, I just bought my Deadpool and Wolverine tickets today. Um, August 6th, so I'll be a bit late, but I just want to wait till all the buffoons stop seeing it and ruining my theatrical experience with their cell phone usage.
No, I think that's fair. I don't have tickets yet. I will see that movie when I see it, I believe.
That's what I was like kind of feeling. I was like, yeah,
I also
we'll get there.
I'm seeing a lot based on like coincidence, I guess.
Hmm.
I saw Inside Out 2, um, and that was kind of spur of the moment because my sister was home. And my friend was down to see it because he had just watched Inside Out 1.
Yeah,
Um, I also made a very long list of new releases that I missed out on that are on video on demand, and I'm gonna need to spend like $200 to catch up, or piracy, which
it's an
we do
option.
own
Do not
though.
condone it.
That is what I'll be doing though. Um, because I do not have $300 to watch movies like If and The Watcher and things like that. Or Snack Shack. I don't think I'm willing to pay
What
29.99 for
is, oh, Snack Shack. I forgot
yeah,
about Snack Shack.
it looks so fun.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Okay, dude, I just got a frightening text from Mr. Longlegs. No, um, this person who I haven't talked to in
Yeah,
3 years texts me, "Hey Carlos, when did you mail over the money?" Follows up, "Sorry, dude, wrong Carlos."
that's horrifying.
Very
Um,
scary.
I mean, good that you're in the clear, but you might have just been witness to a crime, unless they were just asking for like rent.
Mail over the money. No, it's the money to hide the body. We're in a scheme now. Anyways, yes, Snack Shack.
You should just respond with like, will federal agents be showing up at my door to check up on the text message?
How long do I have to vacate?
That see, that could just be too because I just watched Heat, Collateral, and Thief.
True.
So I'm thinking of money schemes. I'm
It's me.
thinking
I'm Vincent Collateral. I like how that's just kind of his unofficial name. Vincent
It's a
Collateral.
collateral. I
Um, yeah.
yeah, I like how that's the second Max that Jamie Foxx has played. I guess we're just going. We're gonna segue into the main. Oh shit! No wait, there's a couple more things we need
Yeah,
to
we do
talk.
need to talk about one thing, a very important thing that our editor has implored us to talk about, which is a new Descendants movie that I didn't know existed. So what Kaylee is claiming is
Mhm.
that Disney is releasing a new Descendants movie, and there's advertising all over the place. That on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, she's seeing ads everywhere. But the interesting thing is that I have not seen a single ad for this film. I didn't even know apparently they made a second one before this one. I didn't even know that.
I just realized what Descendants was. That took me a second. So they made a second one. What? How do we know anything about this one? How far into it are they?
I think this is three. I have no clue about this movie. I
Is
assume
there
it's coming
still?
straight to Disney Plus.
I was gonna say, is there still a Disney Channel?
Let's see. Descendants, The Rise of Red. Holy shit.
Red.
Wait a
What
minute.
Disney villains are red?
No, I think this is Red the Pirate.
Oh,
Oh my God. It's Descendants 4. Hold on.
this is
Oh,
a saga at this point. This is a quadrilogy.
a four-part saga, you say?
Descendants, an American saga.
It's Wait, is this the Red Pi Okay. Descendants: The Rise of Red is an upcoming musical fantasy film directed by Jennifer Fang from a screenplay by Dan Frey and Russell Sommer, produced by Disney Channel. The film is the fourth in the Descendants franchise. The previous three films and a follow-up from Descendants: The Royal Wedding. That was number 3.
Oh, a
By
marriage.
12. The roles of Red, daughter of Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, and Chloe Charming, daughter of Cinderella and Prince Charming, fairy godmother. Right. Okay, so like everyone's none of these people. Oh wait. Some of these people are in the other ones. Filming began in 2023 under its working title The Pocket Watch.
Oh, just
Mark
so no.
Heffling will return from the original trilogy as the production designer. That's pretty crazy.
Mark Heffling. How were they able to get him back? I don't. That was me.
That's crazy.
That,
It's like his job.
how'd they convince him to do this one? Wasn't Cameron Boyce?
He was in the first one.
Yeah, it's like Cruella's
He played
son.
Carlos DeVille.
Carlos DeV.
And
Your
my
namesake.
friend, not my friend, my mom got me the Funko Pop because she says, I don't know what this is, but it's Carlos. And I'm like, that's Cameron Boyce. And it was after he had passed away, sadly. So I was like, oh shit, I have a Cameron Boyce Funko.
I still get. I've never interacted with anything I don't believe intentionally that Cameron Boyce has been a part of. I think like maybe a couple episodes of Jesse, um, in like 2012. I still get sad edits like of him on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, I just got one the other day where it was like the caption was kind of fucked. The caption was "Why did you have to die?" with the
Oh,
like eyes down emoji, and it was like, and I was like,
the
I didn't think he
reenactment.
wanted to. I don't think it was his choice.
How did he pass away again?
I think he had um some sort of
Like
condition. He had a
a seizure,
seizure
right? Yeah.
while he was home alone.
Yeah, it was
So
really sad.
it was very tragic. He was like doing stuff too. He was in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. And,
Yeah. I remember him he was in Grown Ups, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember as a kid watching him in Grown Ups. And then I didn't watch Descendants, but I listened to the music because as a kid, when I had Disney Movie Awards, you got the Disney points from the CD. Like you put the CD
Oh,
in the computer and it read it. And so I got the Descendants soundtrack to get the points, and then I ended up listening to music, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
yeah.
Um, and then I was like, oh, he's in that. And then he passed away, and I was like, oh no. And I got a Funko Pop. So somewhere, I think
I don't want to be mean, but you kind of benefited off of that because
I had a
you
free
got a free
Carlos
Funko.
Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Are you saying
Um,
I benefited off of his passing?
No, but like in terms of like,
Anyways,
okay,
Descendants 4 is
yeah.
coming out, and I haven't seen an ounce of promotion for it, but at this point, I have to watch it.
So
Hashtag sponsored,
she
not
has
sponsored.
she asked us to mention it because she's interested in it, or just because she keeps getting ads for it.
I actually don't know. She just said, talk about Descendants on the podcast, you coward.
You ain't no coward.
I
I was gonna
did.
say that
We're
one.
promoting Descendants 4. I
Yeah,
am disappointed because by the title, I thought it was Red the Pirate, and it is not Red the Pirate from Disneyland. So
I think that would be sick.
if we got
Actually,
pirates, oh, dude, we could get more Pirates of the Caribbean lore.
especially because like I don't think this is like heavy canon, so I don't think they really have to worry about. And that's 100. That's 100% a Disney IP. They could do whatever they
Mhm.
want with that.
She's in a
Um,
cartoon, I think, but
but yeah,
Descendants.
can't wait for the final battle between Red, daughter of infamous Queen of Hearts, and Chloe Charming, daughter of the foot fetish couple.
That's a good way of putting it.
Let's see if it'll do it. That'd be I talk about
Yay.
shit. When I saw Cinderella's Castle at Disney for the first time, I was like 20 and like I almost cried. So
That's valid.
it's for I'll be there. I'll watch it.
It's valid. But I
We
think
should
now
get
we segue.
Do you think we could get Kaylee on the podcast to review Descendants 4?
Please?
Hmm?
Do you think we could get her on the podcast for like 30 minutes to review Descendants 4?
Please?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
We'll make it happen. We'll have a special guest. It'll be like the clap track comes in.
Yeah.
Woo!
The stock people clapping.
We segue now. We're writing our segues
So,
onto Michael Mann territory now. So what we want to talk about today is one of our favorite filmmakers of all time. You've heard about him on the pod. Mr. Michael Mann, director of such great films as Heat, Collateral, Thief, Black Hat, Miami Vice, Ferrari. For anyone, the four people that saw that movie. Great filmmaker, one of the most prolific and thought-provoking filmmakers of our time. He has some underrated gems in his filmography, some that I think we'll bring
you
to the
know,
table here, in addition to his most well-known ones, because I would say arguably Collateral and Heat are his most well-known. Thief,
yeah,
like kind of an underdog because of the Criterion and just kind of more conversations about the film.
definitely got a boost after Criterion released their edition of it. Um, I would argue Heat is probably the film.
Yeah,
I would like to start off by just saying immediately, Heat is the movie.
yeah. It's the
It
movie of all time.
it's the movie of all time. I don't know why they made more after. They really didn't need to. Grateful because we've got some good ones. Not as good as Heat though.
Yeah.
Which I think is really odd because he made a much lesser version of that for television.
Right.
Which I'm not sure if you know about that LA
LA
Takedown.
Takedown, yeah.
And I don't think I ever fully understood the impact of Heat until the internet because I thought it was just something that was like popular in my family. Like my uncles were like, "Oh, Heat, great, De Niro, Pacino." My dad, same thing. Heat, Panero,
Mhm.
yeah, Panero and Pacino. Yeah,
Panini.
Panini and Dachery
Gandolfini.
and Gandolfini. Yeah. Could you imagine Tony Soprano being at that diner table?
You should have seen the prick's face when he said the gap.
I was gonna try my impression, but there's no way that's coming out right. Hold on, let me see if I can do one. No, no, we're gonna we're gonna stop that there. It's been a while since I watched Sopranos, so I don't have it stuck in my.
So you telling me that when he comes around that fucking corner, you're gonna turn the other way?
I feel like I can do, but no, I can't do it.
It's when you start, you just second guess yourself.
I feel like I could be able to do it, but I also would like everybody to know that there's a gigantic spotlight on me right now, which is making it so difficult to do anything stupid because it's in full light from my perspective.
You'll just have to slip it in to the conversation randomly, where it's just like
Yeah.
we're just talking, and then randomly go, "Hey, you should have seen the prick's face when he saw the gat," and I'll be
I
like,
want to try so bad, but I just know it's not going to come out right, and I know Kaylee will not cut it.
"It's when you try that it
Yeah,
will not work."
you got to do it. I lost a lot of confidence. I tried to do a British accent the other day, and somebody's like, "That's Australian," and I was like, "Fuck."
It's like in I Love You Man when he does anything ever, and they're like, "Why do you sound like a leprechaun?"
Yeah.
It's leprechaun, yes. What do you mean it's leprechaun? That's reggae. It's reggae. No, it's leprechaun.
We should try and we should do impressions for an episode. We should try at some
Like
point.
a whole episode is Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear.
Can I do a Kermit? No. I'm so shy. There's no way.
We'll do a full episode of impressions.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
practice.
yeah.
I was told I can't even meow right.
You're not trying to impress Garfield now, are you?
Why did he say something? Let me try it on. Tell me if this is good or not. Um, meow.
Okay, it's pretty good. You got the accent right and the intonation, but it's
Yeah.
gotta be higher pitched. Like that just sounds like a vocally challenged cat.
All right, let's try it again. Meow.
See, that's good. I would believe that.
That's
I would
that's
believe that if I
believable.
heard that from like down the street,
Yeah,
I would believe that.
you'd be like, "Oh fuck, it's a cat."
And that's a meow kind of meow. But then there's some that cats that like really enunciate that meow like it's
That
just like
was hard. That's like a cat.
I'm good at it because I would meow at my cat all the time and try and get her to like get out of an area, like try and lure her.
Yeah.
It would never work, but I tried to like perfect my meow. For that, that's the only reason. I guarantee you, the only reason I ever learned how to meow. No other reason.
See,
Kaylee has meowed at me a couple times from across the set or something. Like she
yeah,
just meow. We were doing a set and she had to like wear cat ears on a sweater. And she was
yeah.
like it was part of her wardrobe. But it was a great film. Um she was playing this like younger sister at a Thanksgiving dinner. So she walks out in this cat hoodie which has the ears. So sometimes she would just randomly meow and it would just make my whole day. I think I have a video of it that like literally from I was like panning across the room and then I zoom in on her and then she meowed.
I also recently just realized Kaylee was in Stakeout.
Yeah.
I
It was
watched
a
Stakeout
stakeout.
twice, and for some reason, like the second, I was like, no, I didn't connect. But then I saw it was following Kino, and I was like, I looked at the Stakeout page and the what the fuck is that thing called? I'm gonna keep doing this till
The
I figure it out.
Instagram?
Yeah, the profile picture.
Yeah.
I was like, that was Kaylee. I watched that thing twice. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was. Yeah,
Yeah.
good job
That's
on
good.
that, by the way. I really like that. That was fantastic.
She did amazing in that. That was good good movie. Good time. So Michael Mann.
Yeah, let's get back onto that. The thing we were meant to be talking about.
You were mentioning about the kind of cultural impact of Heat, which I think is interesting because that's a kind of movie that I will bring up to people, right? And I'll be like, have you ever seen Heat? Because it's my favorite movie of all time. And they'll say, have you seen Heat? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it has Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer. It's an LA crime drama. It's like 3 hours long. They're like, I have seen Heat. And because it's like their dad put it on, or their grandpa really liked it, or it's just on TV, it's a very like widely accessible movie, which I
Yeah,
think is interesting for Man's career because most of his stuff, while accessible, is not very popular. Like Collateral especially was a big one when it came out. It was a big kind of like a sleeper hit, but it did
yeah,
really well on home video. And it had a lot of younger fans. A lot of younger fans like Collateral. Thief has a
yeah,
lot of obviously older fans because it came out at a time when those kind of films were not as widely accessible, but you could seek them out if you wanted to. And again, home video really helped a movie like Thief. It's more his newer stuff that I feel has found a tougher footing, like Public Enemies, Ferrari, Black Hat, even
yeah,
Miami Vice to an extent, but that's just because you're
yeah.
dealing with IP.
I also think people weren't as accepting of that as just kind of a reboot, but also a 2000s action film.
Mhm.
I know. I feel like there's a lot of 2000s action films that like aren't good, but like people love them for some reason. But I feel like I've before I saw it, all I really heard was like exclusively people shitting on
Yeah.
Miami Vice for some reason. I also think he tried to pivot in his career a few times. I think he probably didn't want to be known as the California crime
Hmm.
director. I feel like or he could not care what people think about him because he's Michael fucking Mann.
True.
Um, which I can't really gauge, to be honest, how he interacts with audiences and things like that and fans. But he definitely pivoted very hard because then he made things like Ali,
Hmm.
Muhammad Ali biopic directed by Michael Mann would go hard, and it seems like something that like we would see on like dream director projects on like an
Yeah.
Instagram carousel slideshow or something like that. Because like that seems like more of a Ron Howard thing.
Hmm.
What he did with Ferrari seems like more of a Ridley Scott thing, and it seems like he will try to branch out and try to, and also his involvement in things like Tokyo Vice and Ford
Right.
versus Ferrari. Like Tokyo Vice, I guess, is more up his alley, whereas like Ford versus Ferrari is not what you'd expect from Michael Mann. Uh,
Exactly.
I remember being very shocked seeing his name kind of everywhere for that as a producer.
I think Michael Mann is a director he's the kind of director that his name doesn't really get thrown around in the conversation enough as far as like you bring up like those dream projects, right? They're like, "Oh, I'd love to see this movie directed by Martin Scorsese or Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan or Stanley Kubrick if he could make movies now. Like I would love to see this project. He would have been great at it." And it's like Michael Mann is a director that has proven he's very versatile, but at the same time, he has definitive weak points. And I think Miami Vice is one of his strongest movies that showcases his strengths and his weaknesses.
yes,
And it's a very polarizing movie, especially if you are a fan of Miami Vice, the show, the style. Miami Vice, the movie has that very kind of 2000s video aesthetic. It's very
yeah,
smooth and frenetic and HD crispy and to me I like it. I think it kind of builds around it, but it's a weird antithesis to Heat, which is such a cinematic film. It's such a wide scope scale epic saga movie, and I just
yeah,
revisited The Insider, which I feel has a similar vibe, kind of like a crossover between Heat and Miami Vice. It feels cinematic in nature, but it's
yeah.
very kind of homegrown, like Miami Vice was. Very invasive.
I would say Inside. Well, first of all, because I know we won't talk too deeply about the Insider. Insider was a movie that I'd watched in school for the first time,
Right.
and it shocked the shit out of me. And like I knew who Michael Mann was at the time, obviously Heat and everything. So I was like, that. Where were they hiding that? How come nobody told me Michael Mann made this? Like I thought it was
Hmm.
fantastic and it was a great. Um, that's a very good showcase of his talents, but also just kind of like that is, I would say, an example of him branching out comfortably.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think
also,
it has his best ending too. The Insider probably has the best ending of his entire career. It's just a
yeah,
remarkable ending.
I think that's probably tied for Thief,
Yeah.
which I'll get when we get more into Thief. I'll explain why. But Miami Vice is very interesting because, like you said, where Heat's very cinematic and Miami Vice is not. I feel like Miami Vice is very much an action movie. It's not as contemplative. It's not as much of a chase. It's not as much of a. This is also isn't to put it down. I fucking love Miami Vice. I'll when we're done recording, I will watch that and then I will go and watch the unrated version because it's just on my mind now. But it is like pure action.
Yeah.
It's meant to be something very different, and that is a major weakness of it, I would say.
Yeah.
And then Public Enemies, which neither of us has seen, so we're not sure how to label that specifically.
I've heard very interesting things about that movie, things that I'm okay not visiting it for a while. I heard some divisive things about Ferrari too, but I'm still more interested to check that one out.
I'll be honest. Obviously, still check it out. I saw Ferrari. I went in very open-minded. I kind of expected to that maybe the crowd that I was like seeing reviews from were kind of like, oh, this isn't Heat, so
Yeah.
what is this? I don't like it. Which is like fair sometimes, like when a director makes a movie of that caliber and suddenly like you're about to go see a movie that doesn't match up with that. Like I'm sure anybody in the 80s that was like, oh, a new Scorsese movie that walked in After Hours was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Uh, Ferrari was not good, and it was a little shockingly bland for him. It felt like a story he really wanted to tell, but it's also quite short to capture what he wanted to tell. I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if I wouldn't say he lost it, but I'd say that like for his big return back, it was like the most that I felt was disappointed,
Yeah.
like a little bummed out, and like I kind of don't believe that that's the best he could do anymore. Though a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's lost it. He can't make something." I don't agree with that. I just think he picked a topic, a movie, a style
Yeah.
that did not go well together. Especially that's probably his worst ending uh, as well.
Really?
If we want to go into the other side of the coin, that's definitely his worst ending. There's a point. Um, I watched it and then immediately got like texted somebody about it. I was like, "What? Like, did you also feel like a major tonal shift?" I guess the best way to put it without putting spoilers is a tire pops and then the entire movie shifts and changes into something completely different that is not enjoyable to watch.
Valid. I heard
Um,
the only discourse I've heard about it is the car crash.
that I'm pretty sure that is the scene.
Yeah, so I think he has such a versatile career, and he's been in the conversation quite a bit lately because of the viral tweet that Brandon Straussing put out saying, "My wife or girlfriend, ever yet, asked me to show her something that I really love. Here we go." And he posted a clip from Miami Vice, the trailer for Miami Vice. So he's showing her Miami Vice. Everyone was like, "Cool, yeah, Miami Vice," except for this select few people that were like literally like attacking him, saying like, "Why would you show her this? Like, you are a stupid idiot and you should die right now because you're showing your girlfriend Miami Vice." And I was like, first of all, first of all, any sign of a good, healthy relationship is that you are willing to share with someone something you love, right? And also, he said she liked it. They had a good time watching the movie.
Yeah,
There's like a general good discourse to it, but it actually like it was pretty toxic discourse, but there was some good stuff there as far as people actually like remembering this movie now. And some people
yeah.
going, "Well, I'm gonna watch Miami Vice now because I want to support this guy in his decision." And they're going, "Wait, this movie fucking rocks. This movie rips." Um, Specifically, I seen a lot of discussion about the trailer park scene and how
Yeah.
intense that scene is. And in my opinion, like the shootout in Heat is the pinnacle of his career.
Hmm.
And after watching The Insider, I was kind of thinking to myself that, Heat is his greatest achievement.
Yeah.
And he just has moments in his other movies that, like, in my opinion, I think Insider is his best film because it's his most well-rounded in the terms of the story and the character, and also like it's an Eric Roth screenplay. Like it, you can't get better than that. And it's just he is such a remarkable, remarkable achievement of filmmaking in every single aspect.
Also, I can't speak for this. Maybe you can being closer. It seems to be like a very LA staple, the way that
Yeah,
Blues Brothers is kind of like tied to Chicago
yeah,
or movies like that. It seems to be very. I think I my letterbox review was literally talking about how like I know two people near LA
yeah.
that went to see it in 35 millimeter this year, and I was bummed because like
Yeah.
I couldn't go out to LA to see the LA crime saga on
Heat
35.
is the LA movie for sure. Like one of the LA movies. Like there's quite a few. I would say like, but a lot of them are more like kind of cult classics, some underground. Like Heat was definitely a moment for LA.
Yeah.
Um, and it's cool. It's cool that it has that connection. And I think because it's sprawling, I would really like a movie like Ambulance to kind of be in the same discussion of like an LA movie because of how well it showcases the city.
It literally
Um,
had LA in the title.
exactly. Yeah.
They made sure to make that part yellow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool how they managed to get that, the different landmarks in the film in a highlighted way that like if you were to do an underground like midnight screening of those movies, you could have people like cheering whenever they see their favorite landmark or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, he is very represents kind of like a nice the almost like the underbelly, the underbelly of LA, which is really cool in a very objective way too.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how that movie got made.
See, so Heat?
Yeah, it's just such a like technically like it's a miracle that movie even
Oh,
happened. Not
yeah.
like it was controversial, but like it's so sprawling, it's so epic, it's so big. It's like how
Yeah.
on earth did they even accomplish that?
I think something that's interesting. Well, I'll mention two things. First thing is I have a question. Is Thief supposed to take place in Chicago or Los Angeles?
I think it's New York, no?
Because he talks about going to do a job at Palm Springs.
Oh,
And
I think it's
when they're
Chicago.
when they're surveilling though, he sees the Bank of California. However, I've lived 30, 40 minutes from Chicago my entire life. I know what the Chicago lakefront looks like. I know what the skyline looks like now and what the skyline used to look like.
Yeah.
There are shots in that movie. There's even a merge lane onto a highway that I was like, I've been on that. I've been there. I know what this is. Do not tell me that this is California because
It
that's the
was
most
it was
comic
shot in
shit I-
Chicago. And I think the first half at least takes place in Chicago. I don't think
Yeah,
because there's a lot of like skyline shots.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they're trying to pass it. But then he does the Palm Springs job, and then there's a whole like the beachfront house,
yeah.
like the stuff on the beach. I think they do stuff in California. I think the end of the film is in California.
That would make sense. Two separate locations.
Yeah.
Because when he goes and he does breakfast and coffee with the guy, I was like, I've fucking been there. I
Yeah.
guess I never realized it was Chicago. And then like when they're surveilling and I saw the Bank of California, I was like, no,
Yeah.
where you are. I know where you are, and that's not it. And so I was just really confused about this, especially because Iowa Dabiri just did her Criterion Closet Fix. And she said, I think the exact review she gave it was pure sexiness, pure Chicago, which made it even more confusing to me.
Yeah. I think it takes place. Fuck. Spam call. I think it takes place in Chicago. And then
Our phones are blowing up this entire episode.
could be completely wrong. That would be really funny if they were trying to pass off Chicago as LA though.
I think it would be really funny to figure out how they got the words "the Bank of California" on any skyscraper in Chicago.
I mean,
Um,
maybe they just have a big branch in Chicago.
yeah, no, there's a direct connection, it seems, between Chicago and
It's like
California.
this giant tunnel system which just connects Chicago to the Bank of California.
Elon Musk's fucking
Yeah.
LA train,
The little rat cave.
little rat cave monorail from Chicago. You know what? That'd be nice. We could film this in person.
Honestly, yeah, a little
Yeah.
speed rail between the two, that would be nice.
Even this is a very random thing to mention. Speaking of our editor, also In and Out was brought up. I'm kind of pissed at you guys because you guys get Portillo's now. You guys get our thing. You guys get our In and Out.
What do you mean we get Portillo's?
They're franchising and they're setting up a few in LA.
Really?
You still have to maybe travel a bit, but they're setting up a few in LA. But we
Oh.
still don't get In and Out.
You don't have In-N-Out in Chicago? That's crazy.
We have Shake Shack. We have Culver's, Portillo's, and then the other ones, but no In and Out.
Wild. Yeah, we have In-N-Out, The Habit. Trying to think if those are the ones that are like, because I know The Habit has gone out of California. That was started in Santa Barbara. Yeah, that's weird. I went to In-N-Out in Washington, D.C. even.
See, that's what's so weird to me is that like you guys will spread out, but why not? We love you here. Michael Mann put one of your guys' banks in his film that was shot here. Why can't we get an In and Out? I want to try. I don't even know anything on the menu because I've never been lucky enough to look at it.
It's literally just hamburger, cheeseburger, double hamburger. That's literally it. And fries. Oh, and they have some shakes. They have a vanilla shake, an ice chocolate shake, and a Neapolitan shake.
Isn't there something called Animal Style where they just like
That's the thing
plead
with
a case
In-N-Out.
for obesity in this country?
There's a completely secret menu. There's a menu behind the menu. You just
Um,
have to know what to ask. You have to go up and you say like animal style, and then they'll dip they'll cover the fries or the
Yeah.
burger in like their sauce with cheese and stuff and grilled onions.
See, Chicago's not like that. If you ask for something secret, they'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? I don't get paid enough to do something special for you.
I
Just
remember
order off the menu."
when I was in Chicago, I got yelled at. I was like a kid. I was like 10 years old, and I didn't like mustard. So I got a hot dog, and I asked for no mustard. And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? No mustard? You don't get no mustard on your hot dog. You don't get a hot dog." I get yelled at because so my dad had to like scrape the mustard off outside of the restaurant.
Even growing up here, I like ketchup on my hot dogs. Um, I might need therapy for the things that people have said to me when they've witnessed me walking around with a hot dog with ketchup on it.
Hmm.
I don't get the
But they
deal.
don't question the tomato spear.
The only, like we're cutting out all the middleman. Like we're just going directly to the tomato, and you guys are cool with that. I don't get
I,
it.
yeah, I haven't been to New York, but I feel like New York would kind of be the same thing.
Actually,
Like,
New York, they were nice as hell. I dropped two.
really?
I went down to there's a place underneath the hotel we were staying at, and it was $1 pizzas, and my it was so busy, and like my social anxiety had gotten really bad just standing there waiting. So the dude's like, "What can I get you?" And he's like, kind of like whatever. But then I think he could see me like stuttering and shaking, so he's just like, "Hey, buddy, what do you like? One slice, two slice, cheese, pepperoni." And I was like this and then he goes, "You want a drink? I'll give you a drink for free." And he's like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Chicago." And like he was just being really kind. Then my dumbass dropped both pieces on the ground.
No.
And he goes, "Oh, Chicago." And I was like, "Yeah, we're fucking clumsy over there." And then I pulled out $2 to get more. He's like, "Don't worry about it at all." And so I got pizza for free. I don't think that's what New York is like based on everything else that I've heard, but that was a wonderful experience.
He's just like, oh, handle another World Series like that.
Yeah,
Hey, drop it. Drop it on the ground.
like the Cubs are fucking up enough for you guys. This was like 2018, so it's like, the Cubs are
Yeah.
actually they just won the World Series, so never mind. He had no
Okay,
sympathy for them.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bada bing.
Bada bing, bada boom. Tony Soprano served you pizza.
I was this close.
I tried to get you to do it.
I can feel it. I can feel it in my throat.
Hey,
Just
you want a
forget
drink
this
with
guy.
that or what?
Yeah,
I'll
I
give you a
can't.
drink for free.
I just learned how to meow. I think that's good enough
I
for
think, yeah, meowing, that's enough.
meowing was yeah.
Hey, Chicago, drop the pizza on the floor. Fucking
Yeah.
disgrace. Yeah.
Jersey. I want to go to New Jersey and then leave immediately because I don't
Yeah, I
really.
don't, I have no desire.
But
My parents have been there because they were big Bruce Springsteen fans, so they did the whole like tour. Um, I'd be interested to check it out, but not for long.
if they still had the installation of like Jack Antonoff's bedroom,
Oh,
I
really?
think yeah, because they did that for Gone Now in like 2018.
Hmm.
If I got to go and like take some sort of bleachers tour, that'd be kind of that's not the same as not the same level as Bruce Springsteen, but like I wouldn't mind going for that.
Bleachers tour. I think the Bruce Springsteen one was funny though, because that was like in the 90s, I think. So it was like he was still kind of like relevant. Like it wasn't like the Elvis Presley tour where it's like this guy's dead and we're touring all of his stuff. Like it was like this guy's touring right now and we're doing a big house tour.
You know what I think is funny is all the Elvis Presley slander. Because there were people that were dedicating their lives to him to a point where it was like they were impersonating him like out of respect and love, and now it's just like you guys want to see a movie about how he was horrible to his underage wife for too long to a point where she had a breaking point and left? Do you guys want to see another movie that's like not good about his life told from the other perspective, where he basically gets superpowers from black people that help him learn how to sing?
That's a crazy description.
That's what happens. They just
Literally
like,
what happens. He says Shazam and
yeah.
Shazam,
I'm
mama,
Mumble the Baron. I could try that one.
Baron, you cut my hair, mama.
You cut my hair, he's making me fight my cousin mom. I can do that one. Oh,
Kiss my uncle, mama.
on the lips and everything.
Yeah, Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. I feel like
Los
a
Angeles.
remake, you could remake Thief with Jeremy Allen White and Io Bray.
Yes, you could, and it would be fantastic.
But like
Um,
Io is like the boss, the one that hires him.
the big she could be Jim Belushi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would be good. Like a buddy. I just responded to her and I said I would respond in more detail later. And I told her we had a glowing talk about Descendants 4, The Rise of Red.
Yes.
Oscar contender of the year, respectfully.
For production design.
For production design.
Yeah.
How they got him, I will never know.
Like that video like in the at a film festival, the credits are rolling, it's like Neil Breen in all the credits. It's like
Oh
Neil
yeah.
Breen, Neil Breen, Neil Breen. They're like clapping, and then it's like the one different name. They're like, boo.
I need to be on Film Talk and Film Instagram again. I'm on like post depression Instagram, so I'll get things where it's like things may seem rough now. Once you get up that hill and it's like I'm not that sad anymore. I have interests. I'm not like I'm good now. I'm fine.
If you weren't on that Instagram, you would be getting the Descendants 4 ads.
And see, that's what I want.
Right.
I want to see that set design. I need to see now that he's officially back.
Dude, he's back.
He's fucking back.
He's fucking back from the past 3 films. You don't understand how big of a deal this is.
I've been waiting for him to get on a new project since the Royal Wedding. Is that what that one was called?
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've been checking Deadline, Vulture. I've just been waiting for news on that. I'm so glad that we found that out on the podcast.
He's so back. He's never been more back. Now wait till he gets to do the pirate one. That'll be
Ooh,
immaculate. What day does Descendants 4 come out? July 12th. Oh my god,
oh, it's soon.
that's
It's the
two.
same day as Longland.
Dude, I can't make a decision now. I have to see either Descendants 4 or Long Legs. Dude, I'm gonna be so real right now. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to see Long Legs or Twisters in theaters. I'm very scared because it's all around. We have productions, we have shoots every single weekend, 13th, 20th, 27th, and then like the week after that, all
Yeah,
on shoots. And I really wanted to see at least Long Legs. My friend was like, "Oh, we should get a group together, see it on opening night." That's like the night before I film, and I'm like, I can't do
yeah,
that. And also gas. I live an hour and a half away from the theater.
yeah.
It's like, ugh. So I hope they stay in theaters until August. And my only concern is that Deadpool comes out.
I think
And yeah,
I'm lucky enough to have plans for everything so far except for Deadpool.
yeah,
Which doesn't bother me too
yeah.
much.
It's just that it'll
Still
knock everything out
excited.
probably.
Yeah. Uh, I think it'll get harder closer to fall.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm also trying to do more with my life because I had a bit of an existential crisis because my Instagram stories, I was looking at them and they're all just me in the AMC bathroom. So I'm
Same
not
thing.
doing much besides going to the AMC and then taking photos in the bathroom. So viewers,
Existential
if you have any
crisis stuff.
recommendations, yeah, existential crisis. I thank you. I really needed to hear that. No, I really did. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Viewers, I know there's that one dude that's a big fan of us.
Yeah, in New Zealand, right?
If you have anything that I should be doing with my life, feel free to tell me. Kaylee, if you want to edit, like type or something that I should be doing with my life, would be appreciated.
So she's probably gonna type watch Descendants 4.
Yeah, it's probably gonna.
Yeah. I'll set
She's
up a
probably
poll
gonna put
on
the post.
Spotify that our listeners can be like, what should Sean be doing with his life?
I love that. That would be a question that we.
They can see it before they even watch the episode, and they're like, "What am I in for?"
I'm a mess right now. It's fun, but yeah.
I can tell
Um,
by the painting in the back. That's a surefire sign.
the Velvet Underground.
Yeah, I've never seen this space before. This is your background changes yet
This
again.
is Yeah, I have been trying to find a good background. I realized that this was quite literally set up because I had plans to make TikToks in this corner.
Oh yeah,
So I dig it. I like the Velvet Underground.
dude, it's a good look. What is that underneath it?
That's a record player.
The big black ball?
Oh, that's a speaker for the record player.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
All my records are there. All my movies are here. Um, I took the Dune sandworm out. Because
Ah,
I thought it was more mature to put a plant there instead of have a giant open orifice.
true. I have
Um,
my bucket set up in my corner of my room. I currently have Furiosa and Dune up. Oh, and I just found something that I need to show you. I had stashed it.
There it is.
There it is.
It's perfect.
The foil posters.
Oh, to get on the topic of Michael Mann real quick, tie this back together.
Yeah.
Um, I love that Jamie Foxx plays a loser named Max who's working a dead-end job, does not get respected by anybody,
Where's
and a
glasses?
wears glasses, has a sick mother that also does not like or respect him, which, for those who don't know, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, the plot point, part of his villain arc, was that his mom, in a deleted scene, his mom fucking hated him. And he had to make his own birthday cake.
Yep.
Uh, and I like that he did a better, Michael Mann made a better Electro, and Jamie Foxx gave a better performance as Electro in a non-Spider-Man film that came out 13 years before Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out.
Exactly. That's such a hyper specific comparison analysis, but it's just very valid
Yeah.
and very real and very true and correct. And I think it would behoove us to maybe acknowledge that Jamie Foxx's characterization in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 maybe drew some inspiration from his performance in Collateral, in the sense of maybe he drew kind of from that. And it is kind of interesting how the characterization of Max and Spider-Man obviously very much draws from kind of past iterations of different similar characters. And the idea of that character was to reflect the average guy who,
Yeah.
the average kind of downtrodden guy who would look up to someone like Spider-Man. And I think Collateral is really interesting because that's what makes him such a good hero. And it makes him not only relatable, but you provide grounded stakes that you can drive your story forward with. And it
Yeah.
makes Tom Cruise's character that much interesting, because the question about Tom Cruise is like, is he the villain? Like
Yeah.
he's the antagonist for sure, but is he a villain? Is he really, how much does he, there's that scene where he, like, the guy's busting Max's chops and he gets on
I,
the walkie.
I put that in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's well, let me run through these real quick actually, since we're on the topic of Collateral. If made today, Cruz's character would 100% call Max a Sigma at some point. Uh, Cruz said La La Land and Mia and Seb's theme instinctively played in my head.
Okay.
Uh, the dispatch call scene reminded me that not only is Mann great at dry, realistic humor, but is also very odd considering that they just made Vincent a threat in Max's eyes.
Yeah.
And now he's out here genuinely helping him out, especially when you like, I guess we can spoil these. When you find out that he did the same thing to another taxi driver, basically, and he has intentions of killing Max at the end of the night, it was an oddly kind thing of him to do.
Yeah. Well, because it's
Um,
also more like, this guy's a nuisance. I need to take care of him because Max can't.
yeah,
And it's very
like
interesting for their characters.
because he's giving him the confidence where he's like, tell him to shove it up his asshole,
Mm-hmm.
tell him to do this, like tell him to do that. And I was like, this is a really oddly wholesome, funny moment between kidnapper and kidnappee,
Yeah. And can
basically.
I just say,
Yeah,
love Cruise in Collateral. I think Tom Cruise in Collateral might be
yes,
one of his best performances. Very offbeat for him, off the beaten path. It's not a normal kind of character for him to play, but
no,
he's very menacing. I think he does a really good job tapping into that kind of nuanced villain who is ruthless and cold and calculating, but at the same time still human.
I think he needs more roles like that.
Yeah.
Uh, because I feel like I was thinking about this, and it's a good thing because I feel like we talked about being fans of what Cruz has done since. I feel like he's very scared of being anything but a leading action hero where he can do his own stunts. And he's kind of in his career doing his own version of like the old movie stars going to do direct to video action thrillers.
Hmm. I think he could be
Well,
heading there.
because like instead of Nicolas Cage and something popping up on Vudu or iTunes randomly, or Bruce Willis and like all those people that have, or John Travolta, all those people that have kind of had their day and now they're just like having a second career in these. He's shifted towards action movies, but he's in full control of them. They're not going to
Yeah.
go straight. He's found a new niche, a new later career niche, and I'm kind of nervous that we won't get a performance like this from him in anything else.
Hmm.
Because he doesn't really need to.
Yeah.
Even if Mission Impossible didn't make its money back like Top Gun Maverick did, revisiting old hits, or even just doing something like making a new thing and being like Tom Cruise is in it and he fucking jumped off the Burj Khalifa this time
Hmm.
without a parachute and just landed safely on the street and we got it all on film. So come see the movie.
Yeah.
Like things like that. He's doing an accelerated version of that, and it made me very grateful for what I was watching, but also very disappointed that we would not. I don't believe we'll get another chance to see a character like Vincent from him.
Well, I think we might be on the brink because he made a deal with Warner Brothers recently to make, I forget how many, but some interesting movies. And the first one is going to be with Iñárritu.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
going to do, I believe it's a period drama. And so I'm curious to see if we're going back into an era of him working with auteurs and uh filmmakers with studio backing, because
Yeah.
he has had this action heyday. And I mean, I would like to see more like an Eyes Wide Shut, a Collateral, something
Yep.
like that, working with a specific visionary director that can give him a role that can really speak to his talents.
Well, speaking of Tarantino, apparently he had a part in The Movie Critic before The Movie Critic was canned, which was really upsetting because then we don't know what Tarantino's making next, so we don't know if Cruise will be
Yeah,
a part of that. So we won't
that was
get that.
very, very disappointing. A Cruise Tarantino would be
Yeah.
very interesting. I
Uh,
think working with Michael Mann probably just fueled a lot of that uh,
yeah.
ambition and talent in that performance. I'm not really sure. You can tell Mann's directing style when it comes to his actors. I think he really speaks to working with these two titan legendary actors. And for some, their performances are unlike anything I've seen in their career before.
For De Niro and Pacino, you'd say? I think I would agree. I think I would also agree that I don't know why I paused. Like I don't think that that's true. Um,
I'm like,
no, I agree. I guess I was trying to find a way to transition into the idea of like even the subtle hint that was kept in that Pacino rolled with throughout the entire movie of the idea that his character had a cocaine addiction.
yeah.
Um, which because it's not mentioned, we get those hilarious scenes like
Hmm.
she's got a great ass and your head's all the way up it.
Yeah.
Or, anytime he fucking freaks out at anybody, very randomly.
Shut up, Ralph.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That's what I was trying to recollect. Um, and I think have they been together again? Irishman under Scorsese, but before
Mhm.
that, were they put together for anything else?
Not before that film, but after, I think they had a couple roles together. Yeah.
Because I think that this being their first time under the direction of Mann in the film that it was in, which I also will say that like I truly think that Heat as a film stands alone. It's not just the star power.
Hmm.
Because we have a Heat 2 coming and people are even more excited
Right.
about who's going to play the younger versions of them and the fact and like they don't really care that we won't it's possible that we don't see De Niro or Pacino at all in Heat 2,
Right.
which I find very interesting because I think that this is something that like can't be recreated necessarily. I think it's the same thing as like bringing Leo and Brad Pitt together in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to bring. We love Tarantino on this podcast. Apparently, I will not
Apparently.
stop about him. Bringing them together in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the best possible combination. You could put them together in any movie, but under the direction of Tarantino, in the roles that they were given, they excelled the same way that I think De Niro and Pacino acting together in this instance, this specific these roles under Mann's supervision, the story was like lightning in a bottle. I don't
Yeah.
think I enjoyed Irishman a lot. I thought it was fantastic, but I also don't think that that came close to capturing their performances together in Heat
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I agree. I think because The Irishman is so big, it's so just kind of epic in scale.
Yeah.
Where while epic, it focuses in on the characters so much and the settings that they're in so intimately. And I really do think that speaks to Mann's power as a director. I think he is impressive in achieving that scale and giving the audience time to focus in on the most important details of the important characters, but with so many characters, even the I forget his name, the actor's name, but he's the Allstate guy, and he's in the diner, and
Oh yeah.
his girlfriend. That whole side plot is really powerful, even though it takes up 5 minutes of the film screen time. But it's
Yeah.
such a nice texture in the fabric of the film because it really adds into that idea of how kind of broken these people are, and how damning this kind of life can be for anyone who wants to have a normal life. Barbecues and ball games.
That's Heat also some of the best lines ever, and I think also lightning in a bottle because I think something about like if I were to read in a script, you never wanted a normal type life. What's like barbecue? What the
Yeah,
fuck is barbecues and ball games compared to them sitting across from each other in the moment, knowing everything that's led up to it, and then hearing that line, and then hearing him just seeing him just like the fuck is a normal life. Uh, Also, this same as the finale, the ending of Heat, where he's like, "There's nothing more plain than the lines I told you I'm never going back," and him just responding with "Yeah,"
yeah,
because that's not, especially that's not interesting. We've heard that like millions of times. In this movie, it's interesting. I bring that up because I took a lot of notes last night. That's what I'm doing with my life. I'm jotting things down. Oh, Thief. I feel like Thief is the first peek at Mann's like signature dialogue where he can pull an actor to say something that could be very
yeah,
mundane, very and make it a Michael Mann line. So things where he's like, if you want to pinch me, but if not, get the fuck off my car. That's
yeah,
thing. I meant to be Chicago. That's Boston. Or like things like I change cars the way that most men change shoes and things like
yeah.
that. I will credit that to him a lot. This
When
is a
there's
rant.
a the funny detail, there's a scene in the office towards the beginning when he's like, "I'm the guy that you do not want to fuck with." That line. They filmed two different versions of that line, one for TV and one for the theatrical release.
Yeah,
And the TV version, he's like, "You do not want to mess with me," right? And they always use
yeah,
it in the trailer for the Criterion release. And whenever I see it, it's funny because you can tell it just pains him so much to not say the real line
yeah,
because there's so much intensity in a line like that. But then also on the opposite end, when the villain is like, he kills his friend, and he's pushing
yeah,
him down, and that whole monologue that he's gonna he says a couple slurs in that scene, but it's like
yeah.
you can just
Once,
tell how evil this guy is, and he's just a
yeah,
normal dude. It's not like there's any kind of outside pressures. That is just him and his intensity, and like it speaks to him as an actor, but also the direction just lends itself to not only ratchet up the tension, but make you go, okay, this guy's gotta go. Like this guy's a problem.
yeah,
And I think Thief is one of those movies that, is very early on in his career, obviously, but you could tell he just knew exactly what he needed to do for that
yeah.
story.
I'm not sure how to segue. I agree with absolutely everything that you said.
Mm,
Uh, I'm gonna consult my notes again. This is why I wrote these so that we didn't have moments like this. Uh, I want to bring this up. Firstly, just to finish my thoughts on Collateral, Mark Ruffalo with an earring.
amen.
The line "Since when was any of this negotiable?" Is pretty fucking rad. So is Man gets on the MTA in Los Angeles and dies. How long till someone notices?
Yep.
As well as something about I can't remember the line I put in my letterbox review. And then my final thought was makes me want to go to the club, any club, jazz club, nightclub. But for Thief, something that I wanted to mention because I thought it was a bit revolutionary when I heard it for the first time, was that the fake out at the end with the bulletproof vest. I was slightly let down by that, so I looked
Mm,
into it to see how people felt about it. Oh, it was kind of the start of that. I had
So
it word, I had it worded so eloquently, and I just kind of messed it up there. Um, but the fake out with the bulletproof vest was apparently like the start of it, and it was
Mhm.
something movies tended to copy or had a tendency to copy afterward. Because I remember just being like, "Oh, that's kind of cheap. That's
Yeah.
a little lame." But then to rewatch it after and be like, "If I mean, like that's kind of fucking rad, actually."
Yeah.
Like that, not only is it the first time that that happened, but like if we saw that when that movie came out, there's no way that we could have guessed that. We would have been talking about how insane it was that he made it out of there because of that.
I think the first time I saw it, I kind of felt the same way, and I was like, ah, okay, I knew it. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, I'd kind of forgotten. So I was like, hell yeah, because it's like you need him to make it out of that, and it's a character that, while he's not necessarily like the best person, he's not the cleanest cut guy, and he's got these sharp edges. You still need him to succeed and make it out. And in a
I
sense, if
think,
he dies, the villain kind of wins.
yeah, I think Man's got a good way about making horrible people very likable because I
Yeah,
think something wonderful about the best example is in Heat, like you want both of them to win.
yeah,
You know that they can't, but like you want De Niro to get one big final score and get what he wants from life and move on. You want Pacino to catch him.
yeah,
You want him to stop the robberies. You want him to succeed. You want his case to be closed, which I won't spoil what happens because if you have seen Heat, you know, and if you haven't, go fucking watch Heat immediately.
yeah,
Please, I beg of you. So I think he kind of excels at that in a way where you're right. You're kind of the entire time Thief is happening, you're kind of like he's got to make it out.
yeah,
And he gives you this horrible person, this angry person, because he also like goes into an adoption agency and tells them to fuck off basically. So like anybody like he's not a like he shouldn't be a likable person. And
yeah,
then when he doesn't die, it's weird to feel a sigh of like, oh, okay, thank God.
yeah,
Like I know technically the entire time he should have had this coming to him, but like the fact that he didn't makes me unclench. Like this
right.
is wonderful. I'm so glad. Even kind of like I'd say he does the same with Vincent in Collateral up until the final 40 minutes with everything with Jamie Foxx kind of finally getting his courage, I guess is the best way to put it, without spoiling that as well. Because if you've seen it, you know, and if you have not, please go see it. And you still feel a little bummed out when you see him on the subway and he
Yeah,
says that line because you're kind of like
yeah.
he could have just gone home. Like that would have been like he's got more jobs to do, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Like he could have just gone home. Uh,
And Jamie Foxx says, "It's my birthday, so it's time to light up my candles."
and then Tom Cruise as Spider-Man screams, "Yo, Mr. Sparkles!" Uh, and also, I guess in most movies, I haven't seen Public Enemy, but like that's Johnny Depp. I don't
Yeah,
think in 2009 you're hiring Johnny Depp to play somebody that people want to see die, and he's playing
yeah,
actual gangster John Dillinger. Could you imagine we haven't seen Ali yet, and we watch Ali, and the entire time we're just like, "Fuck him! What a
yeah. Like,
horrible
this
human
guy,
being."
piece of shit.
I hope he doesn't succeed.
It's because it's Will Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I saw a video. Speaking of Will Smith, Donald Glover made a joke about having more Grammys than Will Smith, and they did like a live his camp like did like a live reaction video where they took a video of Will watching it live, uh, and Will Smith was laughing, and it was the scariest laugh that I've ever heard because it was just ah, ha, 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 ah, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, dude,
that's your impression for the day.
that's my impression for the day is Will Smith's laugh. It looks like Toy Santa and Santa Claus 2 when he laughs, and it sounds like it too.
Oh my
Um,
God.
This is Kaylee. I scrubbed through all the layers of the internet and I cannot find a clip. Sorry.
um,
Yeah, Michael Mann I think he's been influential to us as film watchers, obviously, and as enjoyers of movies and fans of what makes movies great. He's a really good filmmaker to study because he is, obviously a more modern filmmaker that implements a lot of old school techniques.
Mhm.
but has really come up with a style all his own. And I can firmly say that he is up there with the greats as far as having a definitive style.
I want to add too, for those who don't know, he's Christopher Nolan's favorite filmmaker.
Yeah,
If you watch Heat and then you go and watch The Dark Knight, they are so similar that you
it's
could
the same
probably
movie.
take them to court. Like
Yeah,
that's how similar they are. And I find that very interesting because like he has had an impact, but it has not always been, I should say, as noticeable because it's not like Christopher Nolan came out to release a Batman movie and was like, Michael Mann. I love Michael Mann. It's
yeah,
not like, anybody that takes influence from him is truly like fanboying over him
yeah,
besides us. Uh, and he's kind of like an unsung. Yeah, I'd say he's a bit like Sidney Lumet, where he made all these
yeah,
fantastic movies and people pulled so much from him and learned so much from him, but Sidney Lumet never got his name in the sentence in a sentence of the greats, I would
exactly.
say. I'd say if anything, he's getting more appreciation now than he did even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
No, and I think it you could see the impact of his films on a lot of filmmakers and their decisions. And even when the letterbox does those, oh, who's your top four, there's a lot of times when one of his movies kind of slips in to someone's list, and it's really cool to see because I think it could be easy to dismiss something like Collateral as, oh, it's just a modern, it's just a 90s 2000s action movie, like it's not a big deal. When I feel like something like Collateral or something like Heat are on the scope of something like, Taxi Driver and A Clockwork Orange and 2001, like important films to watch and study from the masters. And it's something that I've latched onto quite fervently. But yeah, he's definitely one of the filmmakers of all time.
he is the filmmaker of all time.
Indeed.
Films were not being made before him, and films have not been made since.
But
You do
for he
not know
made
better.
Ferrari, and that was the only movie that came out last year.
Yes.
Yeah. Something disturbing happened. So I reviewed Maxine today. I did my letterboxed logging, and I just got a comment from an account. Let's see. From Mr. Downstairs. I have this incredibly cryptic message. Kaylee, you can put it on the screen here. I have not been able to translate it. I'm seeking help finding people to translate it. Very disturbing. I assume it has something to do with Long Legs, which is coming out today. So, Long Legs. Let's talk about it real quick. I think it's been one of the most fascinating marketing campaigns of recent.
Yeah, Long Legs marketing has been popping off. I've been seeing people get. I've reviewed every single movie since I found out about this, even if it's the dumbest like review that I've put out there. I'm reviewing everything in hopes to get contact from Mr. Downstairs. Because I saw that somebody got a comment and it scared the shit out of me because the comment in the cryptic kind of language was, I'm not only in here, I'm a little bit of everywhere. This has been one of my most anticipated movies of the year since the trailer dropped.
Yeah.
Maybe even before that. I think maybe we got the trailer or whenever it was announced and the premise was kind of let loose. I remember I've been so excited. This is the type of horror that I think I've been missing.
Yeah.
Uh, I just really want to comment from Mr. Downstairs, and I want this person to stop messaging me because I'm in the middle of something.
Tell Mr. Downstairs to deal with them.
Oh, it is Mr. Downstairs.
Oh, Mr. Downstairs just messaged you?
Yeah, he sent me a bunch of Mayan symbols, and it just says, "If you don't respond, I'll do a Maxine on you, a Maxine Buster Keaton on you."
Oh shit, dude. That's it.
So
You're
yeah,
done. It's over.
sorry, I had to respond to that real quick, so I didn't just
Yeah.
get a high heel shoved into my Buster Keatons.
Yeah. But yeah, I may not be able to catch Long Legs when it comes out, but I will be seeing it regardless. I'm gonna find a way to watch it. It just looks, I don't know. I've been hearing the inspiration behind it is like Science of the Lambs, and uh hearing the comparisons makes me fascinated because the FBI horror stuff is genuinely good. Manhunter was really cool because it kind of gave me a little bit of insight into that kind of style of filmmaking and style of storytelling, while also
Yeah,
tapping into the kind of subversive nature of like diving into the mind of the serial
that's it.
killer. And
Yeah,
it's kind of esoteric at times. It kind of feels like non-linear, but it's just really cool. So I'm very fascinated with what they're gonna do with long legs. Trailer scared the shit out of me. This doesn't usually happen. Trailers like today at Maxine, they screened all the trailer like horror trailers before, and long legs wasn't in there. And I'm
yeah,
finding that every single horror movie trailer is the same. It's like, oh,
yeah.
here's a little scare, here's a little scare, story, 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 and then it goes quiet, and then there's a big explosion of like scary images and loud noise, and then the title. And I'm like, yeah, none of these are doing anything for me.
We're kind of hitting that area that we were at where people weren't taking horror very seriously because they were kind of thin, flimsy premise
Yeah.
held together by scares. The best way to describe them is that when I was 13 and I wanted to go on a date with someone, it would be whatever horror movie was out.
Yeah.
And that is 100% what I see when I go to horror movies. That is
Yeah.
the demographic that they're shooting for.
If it's
Uh,
like Blumhouse or,
yeah,
Annapurna, like whoever's putting out those movies, and even A24 to some extent. I think A24 has kind of fallen into that trap, unfortunately.
from time to
Trap?
time.
Trap by
Um,
M. Night Shyamalan?
that one looks good.
I know, that
That
one looks really good.
one,
I'm
serial
excited for Trap.
killers.
To get that trailer today. Felt like LeBron. It's like going 2 for 2. Got it in front of Horizon. Now I got it in front of Maxine. I'm winning.
I got it in front of Spider-Man 3. That was kind of wild. Me and the friend that I went with, he was a big Shyamalan fan. And I was sitting there, I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? And then he goes, sit here, just watch it. Just watch it. And then afterwards, I was like, what the fuck is this? And yeah, it was great.
He Someone posted on Twitter, they were like, oh, uh what did they say? They're like, oh, I hope I get the Hitch trailer in front of Spider-Man 2. Um, yeah, it's gonna be, horror's in a weird spot, but I think something like Long Legs, because I was really let down by Immaculate. I think Immaculate did not do it for me. Um, Maxine was fine. Maxine was good. I
First
think
Omen was pretty exceptional.
I need to watch First Omen. It's on Hulu, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I part of me is like I may wait till October to just binge all these new horror movies for Halloween, but part of me is also like I need them now. Ugh.
Late Night with the Devil bummed the fuck out of everybody as a nation.
In a Violent
Um,
Nature, I did like that quite a bit.
Still need to see that, but I've heard nothing but good things, so
It's
that's
really
still
good. The general horror community does not like it because the general horror community, I feel like, doesn't have the attention span for it. But
yeah, that's fair.
very slow movie.
The general public does not have the attention span for anything that's not. I don't even have the attention span. I was bored for 2 seconds the other day, and I was on TikTok for a remaining hour after that. And then I put my phone down, and I was like, too much alone time with my thoughts. So I went immediately back onto TikTok.
Need a good
Um,
old like shit and scroll sometimes. You're just like, oh man,
yeah,
I forgot my phone outside of the bathroom. What am I gonna do? Just like think? No,
reading the shampoo bottle isn't even enough anymore. You have to
no.
like
I used to have Garfield
contemplate.
comics in the bathroom, like in a drawer, that I could just read Garfield while going in the bathroom. Can't even do that anymore.
It's kind of a good.
Calvin and Hobbes. Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes are good bathroom additions.
You've given me an idea, and I plan to run with this. And
And
I,
this is not a Garfield sponsorship. I'm not endorsing
oh,
Garfield
this
in any
is the
way.
opposite of Garfield sponsorship. We still
Fuck that little furry fucker. I can't take it.
already lasagna eating. I was gonna say a word, but I don't want to say that word. Yeah, if you went to Olive Garden, ordered off the Garfield menu, and then went to go see the movie, we still dislike you.
Yeah, we still hate you very much.
Please don't listen to this, even though you just made it about 2 hours in. Um, I guess the lesson from this episode is horror is in a weird spot right now. Descendants 4: The Rise of Red exclusively on Disney Plus and premiering on Disney Channel July 12th.
Well,
July 12th. Um,
and Michael Mann's cool.
what'd you say?
And Michael Mann is cool.
Michael Mann is really cool. Go watch any of the movies we mentioned, even if we haven't seen them. Go watch Last of the Mohicans. Go watch Public Enemies.
A good double feature would be Last of the Mohicans and Descendants 4 on July 12th.
I think an even better one would be Ali.
Oh yeah, actually, Ali. Yeah.
Oh god, I'm actually gonna watch Descendants 4 now, aren't I?
We're gonna have to watch it now. But I need to watch. I need to watch the first three.
Do I? Or do you think maybe we could just jump in with? I
At
mean,
least maybe number three, because I feel like the production design in three may have, with the Cinderella Castle, may have something to do with number four.
I also believe though that the set designer bringing him back was kind of maybe like a to help revamp the franchise to what
Yeah.
it originally was, kind of its Oscar-winning glory. What if she was really excited for this movie and we just shat on it
Hey
for
man,
the
I'm
entire
excited for this
episode?
movie. This is gonna be a
Uh,
movie of the summer.
we will also then possibly have Kaylee on for a small amount of time, or the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. Whatever our
Special guest appearance.
special guest appearance to talk about Descendants 4.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Yeah.
July
Um,
12th, big day for us.
well, it's, Barbenheimer all over again.
Barbenheimer, but it's long legs for the rise of Gru,
Oh, Despicable Me 4 did come out, didn't it?
unfortunately.
I think I'm gonna do a triple feature then.